Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining the Spiritist Talk series promoted by the United States Spiritist Federation every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm very happy to host this talk by Lia Gouveia, who will be leading our live with the theme, The Spirit Spoke, Guidance for a New Era. Let's all give Lia a very warm welcome, and please allow me to introduce her before she starts her presentation. Lia Gouveia is an active worker in the U.S. Spiritist movement and a board member of the Spiritist Society of North Beach in Maryland since its incorporation in 2009. Currently, she is serving as vice president of the society. Professionally, Lia manages enterprise applications and holds a Bachelor of Computer Science. Please take this opportunity to send your questions during the presentation using the chat window. Lia has reserved time to address your comments and questions once she concludes her presentation. And now I present Lia Gouveia.
Thank you, Bradley. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. It's a true honor to be here with a sense of responsibility and act of faith, believe me. So today it is a celebration for all of us. It has been a great journey, and for us, Spiritists, it is a week, a very special week. This week, on the 15th, we celebrated 160 years of the Gospel according to Spiritism. On the 18th, we celebrate 107 years of the Spirit's Book, which is the focus of our study today. And on the 18th of April, it's also a Spiritist Day celebrated in Brazil, due to the number of followers, but the Spirit's Book and the content of this book is not only to Brazilians. There is no boundaries. It is the message from the spirits, the superior spirits, to all of us throughout the world. It is not restricted to us spiritists, but this content, it is for humanity. The good spirits came to bring us this message of hope, of consolation, and a true guidance for the new era that is coming. There is no more time, dear friends, to be wasted. We need to take action. There is no more time to remain inactive, indifferent. We do need to hold hands and help Jesus and the good spirits, to spread this message of goodness and consolation. So I ask you to join me here on these reflections, to be active here, send us your vibrations, your thoughts, your ideas, really participating, because I'm here presenting this material, but behind the scenes we have a lot of people involved on this work, not in terms of infrastructure, but on the whole organization, on the dissemination of these ideas. So let's work together and see how the content of this beautiful book can really help us. I'm going to start with a mediumistic message called A Century Ago that is going to tell us a little bit more about Allan Kardec, this missionary that was, in charge of compiling, messages from different spirits that came to us from different mediums, different intermediaries. And as he saw the beauty and the power of this content, he put this in a format of a book for all of us today. But let's see a little bit of his journey and how we can relate to it. So it was in Paris, in a cold morning of April 1860. Allan Kardec, the codifier of the Spiritist doctrine, was weary. So he was tired. He was probably sleep deprived because the task was not an easy one. And if, you who is listen to me here today, you feel sometimes discouraged, weary, tired, in order to work not only on the dissemination of the Spiritist doctrine, but to really put in practice, all these teachings, because it's not easy to be a spiritualist or a spiritist person in a world that is so material, that it's materialistic, that is still focused on the illusions and on the appearances. So do not be discouraged. Think that it is part of the work to spread the seeds of goodness, and that these seeds are going to be flourishing when the time comes. So let's continue here. Despite the consolidation of the Spiritist Society of Paris and the promising selling of books, money was getting scarce for the gigantic task that the superior spirits had entrusted him. Is not still the same. Our Spiritist centers, they still rely in a lot of volunteer workers, great workers, to really disseminate these ideas. We do not charge for any service, and we cannot charge because we learn that we need to give for free what we receive for free, because this knowledge, these teachings do not belong to you or to me. This belongs to the spirits. So our work here is to be their voices, their hands, and take action, materialize the work that they started and continue working with us. So there was a growing pressure. Sarcastic letters abounded. So you can imagine, no? If today, nowadays, it's many people still do not believe on these messages, on these spiritual realities. We still have people fighting the spiritist ideas or being sarcastic. Imagine 106, 7 years ago. When he was feeling more discouraged, his wife, Madame Riveio, brought to him a package. So you see that he was not alone on the task. Not only he had his wife, but other loyal friends, but he had the whole spirituality behind him, helping him. And it's the same with us, even if you are not missionaries like Allan Kardec. The Professor Rivaio opened the parcel and found the letter of a book restorer. And as I was reading that, I said, probably the young people here does not even imagine that there was a profession before called as a book restorer, but it was a time that books were only in paper format, very expensive, and we had to restore the cover. And if some of you are still part of my generation, you will restore your old books and label them to go to school. So anyways, and he read, Mr. Allan Kardec, with all my gratitude, I send you the attached book, as well as its history, begging you, above all, to proceed with your mission to enlighten humanity, because I have stronger reasons for doing that. So, dear friends, the goal of the Spirit's book, this knowledge brought by the superior spirits to us, is to enlighten us, is to show us the path of a new era. There is no more time for inactivity. We have to take action. We need to help build a world that is more just, more equal, a world where solidarity and fraternity prevails, a world of peace. And you may say that we are dreamers, but we are not alone, like we heard on the music, right, from the Beatles. So anyways, like I mentioned, we need to celebrate this book by reading, by studying, by meditating, and more than ever, putting in practice these lessons, because it is the goal of this book. The author of the letter told that, feeling desperate after the passing of his wife, he planned to commit suicide. How many people in our world, are still committing suicide, trying to eliminate their pains and sorrows? How many people feel despair when losing a loved one or undergoing a difficult disease? But here is what the Spirit comes to tell us, that death does not exist. It is an illusion, because we are immortal spirits. We are temporarily living in this material world to fulfill tasks. Some of us have small missions, small tasks. Some of us have big missions, big tasks. It does not matter the size of your task or your mission. You are unique, and what you need to accomplish, I cannot accomplish, So there is a whole diversity, in humankind, and we need to work together and to complement each other. And more than ever, we need to hold hands and really avoid this nonsense of destruction that we are undergoing, because we are not only killing others, but we are killing ourselves through our own behavior, through our lack of self-love, self-esteem, self-value. So this book saves lives, and is saving our lives as well, if not materially speaking, emotionally speaking, mentally speaking, spiritually speaking. So in a certain night, he looked for a bridge. At the moment he was putting his hand on the bridge wall in order to throw himself into the waters, he touched an object which fell to his feet. Surprised, he noticed that it was a book. Under the light of lamppost, he read, "This work saved my life. Read it carefully and enjoy it." A. Laurent or Lohan. The codifier unwrapped then a volume of the Spirit's book with a beautiful new cover. On the front page, he read, with a great emotion, not only the note quoted by the addresser, but also another, "It saved me too." So just on this small story, we already see this book saved 2 lives. God bless the souls who helped its publication. We say God bless Allan Kardec and all the missionaries from both realms, the material and the spiritual one, that worked on this book, that it was the beginning of what we call nowadays the Spiritist Codification. Joseph Perrier. After reading, the Professor Revile experienced a new light shining through him. Taking the book to his chest, he thought, immersed in a radiant hope, it is necessary to go on, to forgive attacks, to embrace sacrifice, and not to mind the slanders. So, dear friends, this message, again, is to all of us. Do not allow yourself to be discouraged in your day-to-day, when you need to face your jobs, when you need to face your family issues, when you need to face, difficult diseases. It's not only on the Spiritist movement, but it is everywhere. All of us, in one way or another, feel weary, feel tired, feel hopeless sometimes, discouraged. But this book and the Spirit comes to tell us, do not allow yourself to be discouraged. Have a positive mind, look the positive side, see how much beauty there is outside. See your own value, your own talents, your skills. It is true that we're still imperfect beings. We are still struggling to become better, but we are already much better than before. And we are not alone on these tasks. Jesus needs us more than ever. He needs our voice, he needs our hands, he needs our actions. And it is not in a pretentious way. It is in a humble way to say that we need to work together, because working together, we are stronger and we can do it. If we have a little bit to give, the spirits are going to multiply. Let's believe on that. The world needed renovation and mercy. More than ever, our world needs renovation and mercy. We need to be compassionate to one another. We need to renew ideas. We need to destroy old prejudices, separations, injustices, all created by our imperfections, which is greedy, which is selfishness and pride. So it's why this book inviting us to change our world is starting with us, our inner world. And by changing our inner world, we are going to contribute to our external world. Allan Kardec rose, opened the window in front of him, took a deep breath, and before taking the pen to restart his usual job, took a handkerchief to his eyes and dried a tear. So, yes, let's take a deep breath and let's not be discouraged. He did this immense work during a time that he had to write everything. It was a time of letters. How much work it was involved on this task. And not only we need to be grateful, but the best way to express our gratitude is by dedicating time to get to know the content of these books, meditate and put in practice. And for the young people connected, handkerchief, it is a tissue, okay? So this message came by the Spirit Hilario Silva, is on the book The Spirit of Truth, psychographed by Chico Xavier, this amazing Brazilian medium who brought so many books to us. But let's think about it, that the Spirit's book was the starting point, was part of the foundation of a big edifice, a big building, that as we get more mature, as we evolve, we are going to get to know all this knowledge. But it cannot be a knowledge that it just bring us ideas so we can feel that we know better than others, or that we feel superior, or we are the ones destined for better worlds. No, it just makes us more responsible, because this contact is to be lived, is to be shared through actions, So we need to act and not only be intellectuals discussing these ideas. So Professor Rivail mentioned to his wife, Amélie Boudet, my conversations with the invisible intelligences, and here he's talking about the spirits, have completely revolutionized my ideas and convictions. If you get to know about Allan Kardec biography, he was a renowned professor at the time, very rational, and in the beginning, he could not believe that tables were turning or dancing, but he had an open mind to observe, to investigate, to compare, and he started, compiling all this information. And this was later on the Spirit's book. The instructions thus transmitted constitute an entirely new theory of human life, duty, and destiny, which appears to me to be perfectly rational and coherent, admirably lucid and consoling, and intensely interesting. So he was sensitive, to understand the power of this message, and how this content can be transformative. And it is the beginning of a rational faith. Now we know that God is a reality, that God exists, but it is not the human God, the material God, but it is the God that we learn on the Spirit's book, that it is immaterial, that it is a father, mother, because God does not have a gender. It is the supreme intelligence. It is the creator of everything. It is our creator. And we are all destined for a purpose. So let's see how lucid, how rational, how consoling these messages are. And here Kardec said, I have a great mind to publish these conversations in a book, for it seems to me that what interests me so deeply might very likely prove interesting to others as well. So, if Kardec was a selfish person, a lazy person, we would not have this book. But no, he realized that the beauty of this message, and he wants to share with others. He wants to share with us. And this takes action, dedication. And this is why I'm saying that the invitation is for each one of us to do a little bit more, to not be discouraged. I know we do have our very demanding jobs. We know that our service in our Spiritist centers, on the Spiritist movement, it can be very tiring because we have to renounce to our material pleasures in order to be dedicated to the task. But let's not lose this opportunity, because this is going to bring us joy and happiness, not only on this moment, but in our future as well. So I want to bring also another message now by the Spirit Emmanuel through the mediumship of Chico Xavier again, telling us the importance of books, because many times we say, why we need so many books? Why we need to constantly read and study? And here it's an explanation. Books represent a blessed rain, fertilizing the soil of the human heart, bringing peace, comfort, and enlightenment to millions of people. And dear friends, it is already millions of people that enter in contact with this book, with the Spiritist books, with the messages coming from the spirits that are not only on the books we study, but is throughout everywhere, because the spirits, they do not discriminate. There are no boundaries, no countries, no cultures. We know that they come to enlighten each one of us, through intuition, so we can find the universal truths, the divine laws, expressed in other cultures, in other books, because this is part of nature. So it is the content of this message that needs to be spread. We do not need to convert people. We don't have to make other people spiritists. No, we need to behave as spiritists. We need to enlighten other peoples and do not ask them to change their cultures, to change their religions, to change their traditions. Spiritist ideas and messages came to add to our knowledge. It came to be spread to all of us human beings. Okay, it is a collective work, you know. So the noble book, you clarify the intelligence and illuminate reason prevailing over the darkness of the world. So let's dedicate time. Let's develop a little bit more of discipline. This book, they have 1,019 questions. You do not need, and it's not for you to read like a romance from beginning to end. You open, and read one question, few questions every day, as time allows you, you know, enter in contact with these ideas, with this message, and see how you can, change yourself, your perceptions, your ideas, and then you'll be a true example to others. So we learn on the gospel according to Spiritists that love is more important than education. We read the following: all Spiritists love one another. This is the first teaching. Educate yourselves. This is the second. Yes, we need to keep enlightening ourselves, opening our minds, understand this content. But without love, we are going to be misleading the message and misleading people, because our world has enough knowledge. We can say that our planet, never had so much intelligence, so much information, knowledge that has been disseminated throughout the web to everybody, right? We have access to so many technologies, but our world is so poor in love because we still are indifferent to our brothers and sisters that are starving, that do not have access to clear water, that do not have decent way of living. We still want to accumulate and show to others, what we have, you know, in a very materialistic world, that what we have is more important than what we do. We are on the wrong path. Like I said, we need now to not only educate our minds and develop our intelligence, but we need to start educating our emotions, educating our feelings, and learn how to love a little bit more. And to love a little bit more means being a little bit less selfish, a little bit less interested in material things. We need to allow our hearts to be touched, so we can have a little bit more of patience, a little bit more of tolerance. And Jesus told us, you can find on the Gospel of John, as I have loved you, love one another. So Jesus came to our planet to exemplify to us how we can behave. He demonstrated compassion to everybody. He never discriminated. He was a revolutionary of ideas, of behavior. It was not a revolutionary, of weapons. And this is the call. We are not here to create wars through weapons, through swords. We are here to revolutionize ideas, to touch hearts. We are here to contribute, even if it's very small contribution. We are here to spread goodness, peace, fraternity, charity, friendship. We are here to really help one another, dear friends. So, in April 18th, 1857, the first time this book came to be published by Allan Kardec with 501 questions, if my memory is good. And after a year, he complemented the work and turned to 1,019 questions, which is what we have today in different formats. You can find on paper format, PDF format. You can find electronic books, audio books. You can buy the books. You can have access to this content for free, and it is translated in different languages. Like I said, there is no boundaries, so it's up to us to get to know the content of this book and to really apply, inside of us. But in a nutshell, what this book tells us about our immortality, that we are souls, we are spirits incarnated temporarily here, and we are immortal. We never die. We were created, but we're never going to die. Our loved ones that already passed away, they are not dead. They are more alive than ever. And they are connected to us through thoughts, through the bonds of love. And they are fulfilling tasks, and they have their guardian angels. They have the spirits helping them, so we can be in peace, that they are not alone. We are all children of God. And if you truly believe on that, you feel that in your hearts, you are not going to feel despair. You are going to trust. So we learn about the nature of spirits, our true nature, which is spiritual. We are humans here, but we do not belong here. We learn about the moral laws, the divine laws. And I have here, in case I don't remember all, there are 10 moral laws on this book. The law of worship, the law of labor, the law of reproduction, preservation, destruction, society, progress, equality, freedom, justice, love, and charity. So moral laws, divine laws, are applicable everywhere. We learn about our present life. We learn about our future life. We learn about our destiny according to the teachings of spirits of high degree, transmitted through various mediums, collected and organized by Allan Kardec, as I mentioned. And the Spirit's book, it was the starting point of what we call today the Spiritist Codification. And here we have the 5 main books as a basis, as a foundation of a what we call Spiritism. But as I mentioned, there is much more that it has been added to this edifice, but it has to come to complement, to detail, not to contradict. Okay, dear friends. So Spiritism, it is a combination, or I would say there are 3 aspects in Spiritism: the scientific aspect, the philosophic aspect, and the religious aspect. Here is just few questions that all of us come to ask. Who am I? Why I am here? What is my purpose? Where do I come from? So there is so much more to learn here. And due to the time, I cannot go deeper on each one. If at the end I have more time, we can express more and give some time for your all comments, your all questions. So Spiritism, or the content of these books, of this knowledge, is going to open a new era for humanity because it is a rational faith where science, religion, philosophy meet logic and reason. So what is this new era that I have been talking and is part of the title of our presentation? The spirits have announced that the time appointed by Providence for universal manifestation has now come, and that as ministers of God and agents of the divine will, their mission is to instruct and enlighten men and women, open a new era for the regeneration of humankind. So it started more than a century ago, right? But still in the beginning, and like I said, it needs our collective effort for this new era to come quickly, because we all agree that our world more than ever needs to be regenerated. We need to be regenerated. So, as I mentioned, this book is a compilation of the Spirit's teachings. It has been written at the order and under the dictation of high order spirits in order to establish the basis of a rational philosophy, free from the prejudices of preconceived notions. It does not contain anything that's not the expression of their thought or that has not been submitted for their approval. It is why Kardec even didn't sign with his true name as Professor Rivail. The order and methodological arrangement of the contents, as well as the textual comments and the form of some parts of the redaction, are the only aspects contributed by the one who received the mission of publishing it. So, reinforcing things that I already mentioned. Also need to bring these ideas that we learn on the gospel about what we call the three revelations on the Jewish Christian tradition, right? So the first one is the law of the Old Testament, personified in Moses and the Ten Commandments. Then we had the advent of Christ coming, in person to our world, and his teachings, his parables, his examples are found what we call in the New Testament. And now the content of the Spiritist ideas, or what we call Spiritism, brought by the superior spirits, it is another revelation, but it is not personified in any particular individual, because, as I said, it is the result of a collective effort from both realms, the material one and the spiritual one. So, rather, it is the product of a teaching given not by one person, but by the spirits, who are the voices of heaven. So, dear friends, be the voices of earth. Put into practice these voices from the spirits. It does not matter if you, like I mentioned, if you feel you do not have enough to contribute. Trust, believe, they are going to multiply. It doesn't matter if it's not your first language. It doesn't matter if you have limitations or you think you have limitations. Do it, okay? At all points of the earth and through a countless multitudes of intermediaries, medians, it is a sort of collective being entailing a group of beings from the spirit world, each one coming to bring to humans the tribute of its knowledge in order to enable them or us to know about the world and the fate that awaits for us. Reinforcing here a little bit more the ideas. In the same way, Jesus told us that he had not come to destroy Moses' law, Spiritism did not come to destroy the Christian law. Spiritism teaches nothing contrary to what Christ taught, but develops, completes, and explains in clear terms for everybody what Jesus stated in allegorical form or through the parables. So, dear friends, it's clear more than water to us. But again, if we do not study, understand, and put in practice, we are not really doing our work. Among the number of the spirits who have taken part in accomplish this task, there are many who have lived at one time or another upon the earth, where they proclaim it and practice virtue and wisdom. Others do not bear the name of any personage whose memory history has kept alive, but their elevated status is attested to by the purity of their doctrine and their unity with those who bear venerated names. So, how was this blessing and how the spirits instructed Kardec? And this you can use for yourself as well. Be zealous and persevering in this work you have undertaken. With our assistance, for this work is ours. So let's be careful with our vanity, with our pride, because this work is not ours. This message, this content do not belong to us. It is the work of the spirits. We are instruments, sometimes very imperfect instruments. But what is important is our goodwill. It is our intentions more than our skills, dear friends. In it, we have laid the foundations of the new edifice destined to someday unite all humankind in one and the same sentiment of love and charity. However, before we publish it, we will review together to make sure of all the details. We shall be with you whenever you ask for our presence in order to aid you in the rest of your labors. For this book is only one part of the mission which we have, which has been trusted to you and which one of us has already revealed to you. And this was true because we saw that the Spirit's book was just the first work of Kardec. And after all that Kardec brought to us, other missionaries came to bring us more knowledge. Among the teachings that will be given to you, there are some that you must keep solely to yourself for the time being. We will advise you when the time has come to publish them. So it's not us who decide when to publish a new book. It is the spirits. And we have heard before, mediums that had to trash all the communications they received because it was only an exercise. We heard about mediums that had to wait many years before publishing a book, like the Memoirs of a Suicide, because it was not the right time. So it is their decisions, it is their work. So we need to work in our own humility to understand that we do not owe this work, that the task is not ours. We are just collaborators, okay? So meanwhile, meditate on them so that you be ready when we tell you. The vine branch. So we all know the power of symbols, the power of images, and there is a lot of symbolism on the Old Testament, on the parables, and it's not different in some literature. But why divine branch? This also was recommended by the spirits to be put on the beginning of the book. At the beginning of the book, you are to put divine branch that we designed because it is the emblem, the symbol of the Creator's work. All the material elements that best represent the body and the spirit are united in it. The body, it is the stem of divine branch. Okay? The spirit, it is the sap. It is the content, inside the stem. And the soul, or the spirit connect to the body, is the cluster of grapes. So, as you can see, dear friends, it is a collective work between the spirits, the discarnated ones, living on the spiritual side, and us, incarnated here temporarily on the material work to materialize their ideas, to materialize this knowledge. So it is not the work of one person, one culture. Now let's talk a little bit about the new era. One of the laws, the moral laws found on the Spirit's book, it is the law of progress. We see that everything progress, not only us, the world's progress too. Because progress is one of the laws of nature. All animated and inanimate beings of creation are submitted to it by the goodness of God, who wills for everything to grow and prosper. So it is part of our evolution to develop ourselves, to develop one another, to develop our world, and to prosper. Death, which to humans appears to be the end of things, is only a means of reaching a more perfect state through transformation, since everything dies in order to be reborn, and nothing suffers annihilation. It is not true. When we observe nature, we see that nature is in constant transformation. Nature recycles everything even before we start doing that. Everything that we create, it is inspired in nature, and our creation is as good as we are good. So, which means more we evolve, more we progress, more we are going to create better and more beautiful things. At the same time that living beings progress morally, the worlds they inhabit progress materially. So our planet Earth, it is evolving. And we learn through another layer of the edifice, which is all the books brought by another Brazilian medium called Divaldo Franco. And here you find this information on the book Planetary Transition by the Spirit Manuel Filomeno de Miranda, saying that our planet, it is undergoing a transformation, a transition. It's why we see so much chaos, and why we see so much turmoil and crisis everywhere. We are in a process of moving from what we call trials and expiations to regeneration. The earth, according to that law, the law of progress, was once materially and morally in a state inferior to today. And we know throughout the history, right, that we had primitive humans living here before. We had less evolved animals, less evolved plants. So everything is evolving and progressing. So it's the same with our planets. It is the same with everything that is created. And under this dual aspect, it will reach a more elevated degree. So we are dual beings as well, right? We are material and spiritual. but our materiality, it is only temporary. Our bodies are only a temporary clothing that we use to live here. But our true essence, it is divine, it is spiritual. So it's why the material gains and possessions cannot give us happiness or peace or joy, because we need to fulfill our thirsty for spirituality. We need to fulfill ourselves as a whole, and not only materially speaking. We cannot be happy while our brothers and sisters are suffering, dear friends. We do not need so much. Yes, it's true, we need to have our basic needs fulfilled. We have more than basic needs. Yes, we need affection, we need love, we need to have goals in life, we need to fulfill our dreams, but let's review our behavior, because our focus must be spiritual and not material. Because if we focus so much on the material, we are going to suffer more, and Buddha, on his uh, doctrine, he told us about that. More attachment we have to the material possessions, to the material world, more we suffer, because we do not belong here. We cannot hold our material possessions, we cannot hold our loved ones here. We have to live every day, the best we can, but it's not living uh, a day that is pure love and joy and parties and happiness. No, it's fulfilling our tasks, our duties, the best of our knowledge, to leave a legacy behind us, to leave goodness behind us. You do not need to work in big causes, but leave love behind you, leave good friends behind you, educate your children, educate yourself, and you'll be fulfilling your tasks. So it has arrived at one of its periods of transformation, in which from being an expiatory world, it will become a regenerative one. Then humans will be happy, because God's law will reign on it. While we are not able to live according to the divine laws, we cannot be happy. So, more aligned we are to the divine laws, more in peace, in happiness state we feel. Okay? But if we do not even know about these moral laws, if we do not study these laws, we do not meditate about how can we act according to these laws. It is a lot of reflections. So these words are from St. Augustine, Paris, 1862. As I mentioned, we are in a global crisis, and you do not need to believe me. You just need to watch the news and look around. There are struggles everywhere. An era is coming to an end. New times are ahead. We are going through a period of crisis and labor pains, because the exhausted forms of the past will fade and collapse to make room for new ones, at first vague and confusing, but which are gradually becoming more precise. So, right now we are on the period of confusion, like when we decide to do a renovation in our homes. We have noise everywhere, we cannot find anything, we have dust everywhere, we have struggles sometimes with contractors, right? So it's the same. Our world, it is in crisis, because the, there is a pressing need for the new to take place, because the new ideas, the new way of doing things, the new way, the old way that our companies, our institutions, our religions, everything is still pretty much in the past. So they need to be renewed. It's why it's a word of regeneration. We need to renew ourselves, and by renewing ourselves, we are going to renew our organizations, our institutions, our communities, our societies, So, but this takes time, effort, and is painful, like like a gestation. That it is painful and it is a risk one. It is the same. Our planet, it is undergoing this painful gestation. The human spirit is at work everywhere under an apparent decomposition of ideas and principles, everywhere in science, in art, in philosophy, and even within religions. The attentive observer can detect the occurrence of a slow and painful gestation. This is found on the book Life and Destiny by Leon Denis, another missionary, someone who continued the task of Allan Kardec, and there are beautiful books also and literature brought from him for reflection. And so we know, dear friends, that the pain is undergoing, but there is hope, because this world of regeneration is coming and is going to be faster if we work together. So how this world of regeneration will be is when the good will reign on earth. So can you imagine, when we are going to have love and justice and goodness, when instead of destructing one another, destructing our planets, we are going to be building together. Instead of competing, we are going to be collaborating. It's going to be wonderful, right? So it's through moral progress and the practice of the laws of God, as I mentioned, that we will attract good spirits to the earth, and new spirits will be coming here. But the spirits alert us. This is going to happen when we banish pride and selfishness from our planet. So, and this can give us a tip that we are not quite there yet, right? Because we still have too much pride and selfishness. Start in us. But a new regeneration is coming. Maybe some of these spirits are already among us. Maybe children, maybe youth. I don't know, but they are coming. They are coming, and they are going to help to renew this planet. So, these spirits, us, the spirits that remain is still attached to material possessions, to the old ways of doing things, the spirits that are still greedy and selfish and proud, they are going to be behind, because as this new generation comes, as this new world comes, if we do not vibrate by affinity to these new ideas, we will be invited to go a less evolved planets, not as a way to be punished, but because you will not feel at home here anymore. And you'll be helping other planets, more primitive ones, to evolve as well. Because this is the law also of solidarity. The ones that are ahead help the ones that are a little bit behind, And I am going to almost finishing, friends that are on the background. So here's the invitation to all of us, all of you men and women of faith and goodwill. Work with zeal and courage for the great work of regeneration. Let's open our eyes, let's open our hearts, let's join our hands, let's work together as a collective effort, to raise ourselves above this materiality, because as I mentioned, Jesus waits for us. The invitation is here, but it's up to us to decide if we want to cooperate now with a better world here on this planet Earth, or if you want to cooperate to a less evolved worlds. But the promise is that this world of regeneration, the world, this world, like we find on the Gospel of Matthew, these spirits will be the ones that are going to be on this planet Earth. So, blessed you that is already working towards charity, towards compassion, humility, being meek, because for sure you'll be here, if not on this incarnation, on the next one. And I appreciate your time, your attention, and I let our friends here on the background come back, so we can continue our discussions here. I think I had talked a lot. Maybe it's your time to talk. Hi, Bradley. Welcome back.
Thank you very, very much, Lia, for the insights and reflections you provided all of us today. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Everyone, please stay with us for the Q&A session that will start shortly after just a few announcements. There is a new virtual course, Introduction to Mediumship. It's a free virtual course for beginners. The U.S. Spiritist Federation is thrilled to invite individuals eager to explore the realm of spirit communication according to Spiritism. Check out the new course at https://learn.spiritist.us or scan the QR code on the flyer that you see. There is a podcast-like series, Psychology and Spirituality, A Bridge to a Better Life, based on the works by Joanna de Angelis. There is a new episode which appears every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It is available on YouTube and Spotify. The Spiritist app, Be My Hope, which is available now on the App Store or Google Play. This app offers uplifting content in a collection of videos, daily messages, and audio materials. Download it now. And on the screen, you will note there is a QR code. If you want to help the USSF produce more publications and promote Spiritism to everyone, scan the QR code on screen for your donation. Now, let's start addressing the comments or questions from the audience. There's still time to send in yours. From the United States Spiritist Federation, how can we better attune ourselves to guidance from the spirits?
Thank you for your question. Thank you for your participation. This is a very important one, but it requires our action to stop, our day-to-day, have time, to pray, to meditate, or to align ourselves to goodness so we can be inspired, open the channels to receive the messages from our spiritual guides, our mentors, because we learn that everything is vibration, it is affinity. So it's up to us what type of spirit you want to connect. So if you want to connect to good ones, be involved in goodness. If you want to receive, good guidance, be open for it. they are with us. We learn that we all have our spiritual guides, 24/7, but it's up to us to reach to them, to raise ourselves above our materiality, the concerns of our material world, to connect with them, to allow, the inspirations to come, to allow, the messages to come. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for that, Leah. Okay, from Daniel Santos. How to find guidance and comfort when one cannot even read a book, especially a Spiritist book?
Thank you, Daniel. This is a very good one. I think by now, this message evolved in such a way that even if you cannot read, you still can listen, and the content of the Spirit's book, like I mentioned, is not restricted to the Spirit's book, but it is found everywhere. We are open to receive these true intuitions. We have probably, like me, you probably have entered in contact with people that are not even literate, that didn't have the opportunity to learn how to read and write, but they are so connected to the divine laws. They are so connected to God through the work they do in a day-to-day, that they even need, this content for us. Maybe this content is for the ones that need to catch up on these lessons, that we need to have access to a rational faith in order to be convinced. There are people that they feel the presence of God. They feel, the message of love that Jesus brought to share. They live this message as part of their day-to-day, like a second skin, because they already learned it. And we also learned that our experience now here is not the first time we incarnate. So we had previous experiences, and maybe if in this life this person does not know how to read, maybe he or she learned it before. She came here with knowledge, with virtues already developed, so it is not restricted to the Spirit's book. It is not restricted to people that are able to read and write. This is I would like to share, and we can always exemplify, and I think I heard about Spiritists saying that they used to read, the Spiritist literature to their parents that were not able to read, for instance. But you can find audio books. You can find a lot of lectures for free on, over the web. So it is not really restricted to only, people that have access to instruction.
Very helpful, Leah. Thank you. From the TBCEI International Spiritist Council, how did Kardec guarantee the veracity of communications with enlightened spirits?
Oh, this is a very good one too. By comparing the messages from different sources, from through different mediums. So Kardec did the big effort of really, observing, collecting all these messages, meditating about these messages, organizing, and as he saw the same message was repeating, is when he start, putting that as a truth Plus, as we saw during the presentation, the spirits, they reviewed the content of this book, and it was a collective effort, not only Kardec, but other collaborators. So, and also we can, through our own reasoning, meditate and think if makes sense or not, because it cannot contradict. So it cannot contradict, like I talk about the three revelations. It cannot contradict the teachings of Christ. It cannot contradict the teachings of the Ten Commandments. So it is still true that we should not kill. It is still true that we should honor our father and mother. It is very universal that we should love one another as Jesus loved us, that we should acknowledge our Creator and learn our Creator and all the creation, and ourselves as well, because we are also creatures of God, children of God. Sometimes we are very hard on us because we feel that we are imperfect beings, that we do not have enough skills or talents. But dear friends, we are no longer primitive beings. We have access to so much information. We live an era that we have access to everything, really. So it is up to us to dedicate time to exercise virtues, until this can become a second skin, can be natural, right? Thank you for the questions.
Thank you for that, Lia. Wonderful. From the United States Spiritist Federation, is our future life decided when we are in the spirit world, or are we partly our own architect?
Good one too. No, I don't think our life is decided. It's up to us, because we learn with the one of the divine laws, which is the law of freedom, that we do have free will to choose, and that we are responsible for our own lives. And of course, we cannot erase our past. So maybe nowadays we are experiencing, difficulties as results of bad choices before, but now we do have free will to decide how we want to behave, how we want to construct our future. We learn through the Spiritist literature that we do not reincarnate by chance. It is an opportunity for us. It's a blessed opportunity to come here, but there is a previous preparation. Our mentors, the spirits, they help us. So there is nothing wrong. We incarnated on the right family, on the right culture. We have the right conditions, to learn, to erase our past of mistakes, to learn new things, and to really be a winner, I would say. No one incarnate here to fail. But sometimes we can be lost on the world of illusions, because it's very tempting. And maybe it's why Christ told us on the prayer to, that we have to be careful, to avoid the temptations, and how to avoid the temptations: by eliminating the source of the temptations, which is our imperfections. We need to get rid of our own mistakes, so then we can move forward without guilt feelings, without feeling ashamed, simply, accepting who we are, but at the same time, giving value to what we have already accomplished, and keep working, um, you know, in a very dedicated way to get to know ourselves, to observe our behavior, our tendencies, and keep working to improve ourselves. And this is what we learn, that to be a good spiritist is really to work in your inner transformation. Sometimes we want to transform the world, we want to transform our families, our co-workers, but we need to start with ourselves. As we start with ourselves, then they are going to be enlightened as well. So this is the invitation. Let your light, shine, and then the people around you benefit from this light. But while we remain in darkness, we cannot expect light to be around us, right?
Very encouraging and helpful suggestions, Leah. And we have a question from the U.S. Spiritist Federation. Can or should we carry forward good things from the past?
Sure, of course. Everything that you already, conquered, every small virtue or skill that you already developed in the past, you should, use now, or you should keep adding to it. So if you have, positive tendencies, and if you have abilities, which I said is unique to you, because we are unique, we have different personalities, different histories, different influences. So share the best of you with others without feeling ashamed, without diminishing you. We all have something good to share. It is not a lack of humility to love yourself and to admit, to recognize what you have as good already. We were not created to be ugly, I would say. It's like we were created to be beautiful, but it is not the beauty in terms of appearance, but it is the beauty of developing all our human potentials, all our abilities. And as we look around us, we can be inspired by others that are ahead of us and show to us that it is possible. What can be done one person decides to love or take action, how much light and beauty we can really see everywhere. So we have our own beauty as well. It doesn't matter if it's just a little light, it is a red light. Remember, we have a divine seed in us. Some are dormant, waiting for the right conditions to start, flourishing. Some of us has already a little bit roots, some of us are already, giving flowers and fruits. We are in a process. We have to stop comparing ourselves and but looking what it is already good on me that I can share with others, and acknowledging the goodness on others as well. What is already good on others that it can be added. It's why I'm saying it is a collective work. A garden, a beautiful garden, cannot be beautiful with only one isolated flower, even if this flower is marvelous. A garden is beautiful when it's colorful, when there is space for all types of flowers, different colors, different species, you know. It is a collective work from the material aspect and the spiritual aspect. And again, do not be ashamed of your own limitations, you know, and this I'm telling to myself here, you know, because being here, as I said, is an act of faith, you know. English is not my first language. I do not master this content, but I can read to you the beauty of this knowledge. I can reflect with you and allow myself to be inspired by the spirits that are here with us today. You are surrounded by good spirits around you, so allow these spirits to inspire you, to work through you in your day to day. This is the message I want to share with you this morning.
Thank you very, very much, Leah. And our thanks to everyone who watched today's talk live and those who have been following our weekly Spiritist Talk series. Don't miss our next live next Saturday, April 27th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, when Luis Vilasa will be speaking about the Spirit's influence in our thoughts and actions. Leah, before we close the live today, would you please offer a prayer?
Sure. I really would like to take this moment to invite all of you connected with us today to raise your thoughts, to raise above this material moment, to breathe in, to breathe out, to allow your spiritual guides and mentors to be close to you, to approach you. Allow your heart to be touched. Allow your minds to be enlightened. Give them the opportunity to bring to you healing, goodness. Allow them to remove from your hearts all feelings of sadness, of despair, all negative emotions and traumas that you have been carrying throughout this life and other lives. Allow our brothers and sisters that are more experienced than us, more enlightened than us, to do their work. They come here to help us. They are always available to help us. Give them the opportunity. Hold hands. Dedicate time every day to connect to them, to connect to your inner self, to your true self. You are divine. You are spirit. You are immortal. You are a child of God. You are divine. So trust that everything that you're undergoing now is going to pass. And you are strong. You are able to overcome. Allow these blessings to come to you, to your hearts, to your soul, bringing renewal, bringing encouragement, bringing hope to your hearts, strength so you can keep going, stronger to fulfill your tasks, your commitments, your purpose. Find a meaning in your life Find meaning in everything you do. Trust. We are with you, dear friends. And on this day, let's hold hands, the incarnated spirits and discarnated ones, in the name of Jesus, who was so misused and misguided. In the name of Jesus, many wars and conflicts were made by mistake. In the name of God, we still kill our brothers and sisters. But it is time to bring peace. It is time to bring harmony. It is time to regenerate. So let's start with our own hearts and minds, and then spread around each one of us and to this entire planet that is suffering and crying for hope, for love, for compassion. God bless us all, and so be it.